All right. How are you getting on? I have a guest this week. That's right. Tony Cantwell's Shitshow is moving up in the world. We got guests coming into the shed. My first ever guest in the shed, Peter McGann. He is a writer, he's an actor, he's a comedian, he's a very funny fucker, and he's a good pal. We talk about his writing process, writing for the IFTAs. We talk about his tour, Philip Schofield, we talk about for a while, being cancelled. He wasn't cancelled, but we have a good chat about it. And it was a really fun chat. He's very funny, very honest chat. And I hope you enjoy. This is Peter McGann on the Tony Campbell Shit Show. Peter, thanks very much for coming to my shed.
Thanks to me for having me, Tony.
You're my first person in the shed.
I can't believe it.
Are you? What was shed culture for you? Did you have a shed growing up?
We had a shed. We had a shed in the garden, like a wooden shed for tools and the lawnmower and all. And then we'd like a garage as well for like.
You had a garage?
Yeah.
Little spot away from. Little home away from home.
Yeah, well, my dad is more tools and like bigger, massive tools and his motorbike stuff.
Oh wow!
Yes,
I didn't know he was so cool.
Yeah, he's borderline cool.
Because he looks smart.
He is smart. He's an academic.
Yeah. He looks like an academic.
So he's not that cool. Like I love him, but like he's not like a. He's not he doesn't have dyed hair or like anything like that. No, he's just a normal man.
Yeah,
but he bought a motorbike for very practical reasons.
Just getting around.
Yeah. Going up to Dublin for work.
Yeah. What would he be making with the tools?
Oh, well, he mostly be fixing things, and then there's a lot of stuff in the garden. He's a very handy man, so he'd be always doing bits. Yeah. I've inherited none of that. What's
the biggest kind of what's the handiest thing you've done that you were kind of like?
Oh.
A little bit proud of. Actually, I was thinking this recently. That's the word handy. Because I was trying to find the adjective to be like, manly jobs,
Yeah.
without, because, anyone could do those jobs.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So
well,
practical jobs, but they do make me feel manly.
Exactly. It's the kind of jobs that if anyone could do them, but if your partner was to do them instead of you would feel incredibly emasculated.
Yes. Yeah. But
still, anyone can.
So handy, I suppose, was the word I was looking for. And I was like trying to find some kind of broader, gender-free. Anyway, go on anyway. What's the handiest thing you've ever done? Apart from when the fucking when no one's watching. Can you lick it?
Can I lick it? I can, yeah. The handiest I really like low stake stuff. Fixing small things. So this is actually true. This is not just pattered out because I didn't know you guys. This is like out the back garden in our house. The tiles have we got tiles and they got the build up of algae and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
So I borrowed the power washer off my dad.
Oh.
Which I'd used once before. These are the things that are in my dad's garage. Power washers.
Yeah.
Woodworking things.
Yeah.
I don't know why half of them are. But I got the power washer, and then the last time I borrowed it off him, it took me about 3 weeks because there was you need the connection for the hose.
Yeah.
That fits the power washer. So I had to go off and buy that, and I bought the wrong one. You're like, oh no. And that you lose 2 days there. The hardware stopped up the road. And then I was like, I've got the power washer, and I was like, this is going to take no time now because I know how to do it. I've done it before. And then literally last night after work, I was out there and I was like, I had all the bits there, but I couldn't remember how they worked. And then I was like, I can't remember again. And I don't know what I'm going to do.
Fucking hell.
It's going to be another 3 weeks of this shit now.
So what you had to, I just love the image of being like, you don't have a power washer, do you? Then going to get the power washer and putting it in the car and bringing it home and then it not working.
I know. No, it's the second time as well.
It's also going to be so fun. So you're probably looking forward to doing it.
Yes, exactly. I know. Yeah, it is. It's very satisfying, and you do as you feel. Yeah.
Blast it away.
Yeah.
It's so dumb. It's such a dumb way of getting stuff.
It is. Blast it away. Probably bad for the stone as well. It's
probably not great.
Natural stone. Take away the. Like I did Google it and it was like some websites are like, I know under no circumstances do this. But then other ones are like, it'll be grand probably.
They say that.
Yeah,
you
they say
that for anything. You probably still scroll. Is it all right to watch?
The website is called PMAX, which about some masonry website, and I was like, that's a sign.
That's a sign.
But then I ignored the sign.
handiest thing I tried to do. Well, I think I talked about this before on the podcast where I tried to drill a hole. I tried to drill a hole in the wall, with I bought like a masonry bit that was wide enough to fit like a coaxial cable for like so for like the the modem, the thick one that kind of is in the wall, and then you got the Ethernet, which is the skinny one.
Yeah.
So I was trying to like put a modem in my office. So I had to drill through a wall, and I don't have a drill, but I do have like a like an electric screwdriver. So I put that in, and then I was like, it in. But like Terry was all like, she was like, you're honestly trying to fucking drill a hole with that fucking electric screwdriver? And she was like, turn it on, and I did, and the thing started going like, whoop, whoop, whoop. And I'm like, no, but if I just so I was there standing on a stool trying to drill the hole in, and then it was like, and then I just heard dink, and the light went off, and I just stopped. And like I think I even left the drill in the thing, and I just sat there in the chair, and I was there for like 10 minutes. And Terry came in and was like, "Is everything all right?" I was like, "Yeah." Why is the light off? And she looks up, the drill is still in the fucking thing. It's just like I got scared.
That would freak me. You could have died there now.
I realize that now that I need to I want to get into kayaking, but I'll die. Like I know I'll die. Like I'm very, very, very unsafe. Like I cut my hand twice yesterday. Look at it. Cut my hand there. The little, with a knife. Yeah. Cut my hand. Where's the other one here? In there on a wine glass. Like I'm always.
You cut yourself in a kayak, slit your throat with the pointy end of a kayak.
He's trying to saw his head.
He hasn't even got to the river. He's like putting it on the top of the car. No, but that's fucking. I wouldn't be doing
people around. Like I think I need people around to be just. And I don't know if I will learn, but I think I need people around to really put reins on me and be like, keep you a bit safe.
Yeah, wrap you in bubble wrap.
Wrap you in bubble wrap a little bit,
No, I wouldn't have the urge now for kayak or anything.
I'm just very good at that. I have big fat paddle hands.
Oh yeah, you don't use you don't use an oar.
What?
Vol?
Yeah. No, we did it one time. I brought Terry out. Now she was like, it was kind of. I went with like old people. Airbnb do like days and stuff, like activities. So we went out kayaking in Dalkey to see some seals and stuff, seal watching, and it was nice. And now Terry was like 7 months pregnant, and it was a lot of kind of older people, but I was very fast on it, and I was kind of like, okay, this feels kind of good. I might actually be good at something, I don't do a lot of things that were my natural, like my wider shoulders or bigger hands or anything like this. I don't do anything that takes advantage at all of my build or my form.
That's when you do find things that do that. That's a very, you're like,
yeah.
Now you feel like what it would be like in the early days.
Yeah. Did people try and get into rugby with your big
head?
Oh
yeah. Oh, I played rugby with my big head. Yeah, I played rugby in for Rathdrum Rugby Club in when I was a teenager, and I was in the scrum, like.
Were you?
Which is insane now. And people, when I tell people now, they're like, "What?"
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I was like bad though. Bad.
Yeah.
Bad. I'm like
what position
a physical coward.
I wouldn't know where it goes.
I played. They started me as a prop, but that didn't last too long. And then I ended up in second row. But I wouldn't. I am a physical coward, the likes of which you've never even. Like, I can't stress enough how, like, pain,
really,
and the fear of pain, the expectation of pain, and I also have terrible coordination, hand-eye coordination. Like, I can't kick in a straight line. Can't do it. Like, I know, as I said, I'm a coward. I have natural physical strength. That's it.
Yeah.
I have a build that has gifted me with genetically some physical strength, but other than that, like I've nothing I can't apply. Like I took up when
like
I'm
taking in the shop and you're like, "Will you see this?"
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like when if I go to the gym, it's like I can build up muscle, but I can't do anything of use with that muscle outside of lifting things.
So just in its purest form.
Yeah.
Well,
the purest form probably is fighting as well, though. Defending, I can't defend.
And so if there's something going down. Some fly boys, some hoodlums dissing your fly girl. Like what are you doing? Would you ever be want someone to start a fight?
Yeah, unfortunately, I do have a temper.
Yes,
especially when I've been drinking.
Yeah, some of your most eloquent sentences come out when you're really angry. I found
you seem to pull wit, like like especially like when you did a Nugent one. I won't say what you said, but you to shut up hecklers. You seem to pull like some incredibly witty, scathing cut downs.
I have a rage in me, all right.
Yeah.
A rage, and it does kind of
rage.
settle my mind sometimes. It clouds my mind, but also settles it. I remember one time me and Jim were going to Ennio Morricone in the 3 Arena.
Oh wow!
But we went for dinner or something first, or drinks, and we were around the O'Connell Street, and these 2 couples, British middle-aged couples, like well dressed, walking down, and one of them there's a homeless guy begging, and one of them screamed at the homeless guy, "Get a job" or something like that.
Fuck
and
off.
These English.
Yeah,
I should specify which part of Britain they're from. They're English, and I mouthed off to them. Then there, and your mom was big, huge, like Brexit head, and I'm like, and then we got into a taxi, and as we were getting in the taxi, he walked over to me and swung his fist, and I closed the door and smacked off the window, and the taxi man then
fucking
cleared him
hell.
out. But then I don't know what I would have done there. I would have I was a big man in the moment. I've definitely done that where I've been coming like home from nights out and I see like a lad has to his missus or something when I was in college and stuff. I'm like, hey, what are you doing there? Yeah. And then he came running at me and I ran off.
Yeah.
That actually did happen. So I've got big intentions, I suppose.
No, there's this bullshit idea that like that running your mouth, your ass can't catch. Like fuck that noise. Like like I'm arguing with you, so it's an argument. Yeah. And if you're making a physical thing, I'm gonna run away.
Yeah.
And that's not a cowardly thing. Like it's not a cowardly thing. Like if someone decides I'm going to hit you now, like I'm going to get out of the fucking way.
Exactly.
If someone's like, it's like you're shouting at a train. Fuck this train, and then you just get out of the way of the train.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
And then the train passes, and you're like, stupid fucking train.
Yeah. Also, she told me to fuck off as well, mind my own business as well.
Did she?
So maybe I was running away from her as well.
Yeah.
You're both on your own.
I think it's so insane how many people think that they can fight, having no experience.
I'm guilty. Not that I think I know how to fight in terms of like moves if I'm not that deluded, but I think like I don't think of the escalation where it's like I'm here now. I'm comfortable right now and I can engage, and then the second it levels up there's like, oh no.
Yeah.
What have I done?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's scary. And I think anything that you do like in the situation, even saying I'm sorry, I'm so sorry is
instantly
is
I'm
not,
so sorry.
It's not, I don't know, like I just think it's so insane how quick people and the way people talk, especially if you've like, I don't know, mates who've had a couple of pints and like, oh gosh, I should kick this fucking head in, being like,
I hate that
on.
now. I hate
like,
that.
And people think, okay, why don't we enter, like the way I see fighting is, you wouldn't enter some fucking crochet tournament if your life was on the line.
Yeah.
So why would you enter a martial arts tournament with no experience in martial arts? It's insane. It's insane that people think, what, it's just the instinct? I'm a fucking gorilla at the end of the day. I got big fucking hands. I know. Like, you don't know anything.
No, you know nothing.
I wouldn't know what to do.
Break your wrist on point of contact.
That's why people are always just booting people up the arse, because like I've kicked a football before. So I know how to do that,
Yeah. I'm lucky now. I haven't been around people like that for so long, but I was fairly recently in a pub, and they were just getting more of that, like, that lad over, that kind of, and then you're the other person there. You're like, I'm not going to stand up for you because you have an issue with this person who doesn't even know you have an issue. Yeah. But then it's like you're also you can't leave them to it. It's not going to. No.
I just really think that if you choose to engage in a fight, like, you've kind of lost. It's like going to court. I feel like you kind of go down a little bit in my estimation if you're looking to fucking start show this fucking guy, give him his fucking comeuppance, Unless they're like a molester.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, no one's going to begrudge you that.
Nah. Sorry, I feel like I'm just, throwing a line in the sand.
You're right. Vigilantism there is the only time where it's...
But I also I do watch a lot of no, I don't want to talk about those fucking nonce videos.
Do it. That's where my mind went there.
Yeah, that's where my mind went. Those kind of like, with the Manchester non-stoppers, you were here to meet a 15-year-old girl.
Yeah.
And now I wasn't. It's awful.
Yeah, it really is.
Like, put this person back to their carer.
Yeah.
Like, send them back to their carer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
also release the like yes, it's so awful, but also like, what E.L. James smut were you writing to get this person out of the gaff?
Are you channeling your own kind of?
Yeah.
There's a very good film.
This dirty fucker. He's loving all this, this dirty shit. It's awful.
There's a great film from the 70s with Sean Connery called The Offence, where it's with Sidney Lumet, right? It's set in the UK. I don't know where it's set. In England somewhere, or maybe Scotland. But anyway, it's just this two-hander with him and this suspected child killer, kidnapper, molester kind of thing.
You'd hope it was killer, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Well, no, that's it. But then as it goes along, you're like, this all these screaming, all these charges. I mean, you're like, does this lad is the cop kind of a bit there as well? So that's it. I kind of think in the same way.
Oh,
it's
interesting.
like, if you give all your time to coming up with these lurid scenarios involving children,
Yeah.
it's like obviously you're not as bad as them.
Yeah.
But it's also a bit like, what's going on here?
I know it's definitely like, unless there's some previous trauma, which is very likely that there could be, or an actual vengeance story, like like the Batman of pedos,
Don't call me that. Just call me Batman. I'm going to move on to other crimes eventually.
No, Batman of pedos.
It just happens to be a high level of pedophiles in Gotham City right now.
With the Batman of pedos. I'm here with the Batman of pedos.
And Bruce Wayne at the party's like, did you hear about the Batman of pedos? I heard he just likes to be called Batman.
Well, he's very exclusive at the moment. I hear he is going to move on to bigger things.
Bigger things.
No, but it's either it comes from some sort of Batman's vengeance story, or it's a sick curiosity.
Yeah.
It's the same. People who read true crime magazines and they're like, that's awful.
Yeah.
That's awful.
If I wish that I had them in front of me with a hammer.
Yeah, But yeah.
That's good comedy, isn't it? Yeah.
I don't know. It comes up too often here.
I know, but look, it's an intriguing topic. It's it's very dark thing, and it's
yeah. Anyway, look, I'm saying that you can definitely bash a nonce.
It's just bashing. If you get anything from today's podcast,
yeah,
bash a bloody nonce.
Sure, they're all on a list anyway. You can find them. Anyway, what else is going on? Peter, you excited about your show?
I am, yeah.
Your tour.
I am excited about my tour. Great lad.
Yes, great lad.
September. I mean, technically it's already started because it was on in Liberty Hall in March, but there's a lot of months in between that.
Can I ask how you write, what your process is like?
Yes.
I'm very curious about that.
Well, I kind of, for one reason or another, I discovered that I wasn't going to have a lot of stage time to kind of work on bits when I was prepping the show. So I was like, this show needs to be something that is something that I can just work on in my own time, almost like write it and rehearse it, and it can still work without like necessarily getting up and road testing it, which actually works perfect for me because I like to do kind of weird meta things that that I can that can just be like put up on after rehearsing alone kind of thing. And I also had enough of it, and I knew that I had enough of it that had been put out in front of audience or whatever, that I knew there was some things that are just like rock solid bits that can just that I know going in will work, and then I can work on kind of other stuff around that maybe necessarily I won't get the time to do, but that frees you up to then to do kind of a bit more weirder experimental stuff.
How did you have many moments when bits were falling together and you were like, oh yeah?
Yes, I did. Like I remember I do a bit on stage where I read a book excerpt, and I remember I wrote it and I was like, I really love this, but it's a big ask of an audience. And then I did your podcast, your live podcast, and I did in front of them, and I went down a treat, and I was like, okay. Then it like locks in. You're like, this is magic now. Yeah, there's all the bits, the bit at the end of it that I did on the Vicar Street show, that lineup we were on. When I was writing that was one of the happiest I've ever been writing anything. You're like, oh, this is like, I felt like I got one of my sketches that I do online, character sketches, and I've managed to make it work in a live capacity. So that was like very satisfying.
So it's very satisfying when it works. It's a very frustrating necessity, though, isn't it, that people have to laugh?
Oh, yeah. I wish they
so
didn't.
frustrating?
Yes, it is. And like, you just, and they laugh, and then you kind of talk to them after, and sometimes they don't laugh at the right thing.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh.
Do you ever do that when they don't laugh at the right thing? Do you ever change it to lean into more what? Like, I mean, that's what you're supposed to. Kind of, I suppose what you're supposed to do is like throw it out there, see if what they like, and be like, oh, they like that more, so let's figure out how to flesh out the part now that they like a bit more.
Yeah, maybe a bit, maybe a bit, because
or you're just like, fuck them, they're not having it.
Yeah,
at all.
I'm more like that. Yeah,
you're not having any of it now.
No, I'm not.
Laugh at the right thing.
Yeah, I'm not good with the constructive criticism. No, I definitely. I feel what it is I sometimes when you do bits that are predicated on like a buy-in, so it's like I'm doing a bit about, you know, that's a, this is gonna sound wanky, but like a commentary on a certain type of comedy.
Mm-hmm.
But then people come up after and they're relating to it on the exact level that you're kind of like, I do the bit about the book where I'm just reading like lists of things from the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Remember the 90s? And then then I did it.
It's a very good bit.
Thank you. I did it last week, and people came up after and were talking to me, and they were like, I was having a drink after, and they're like, yeah, I loved the bit about 90s. Like, that's so true. GoldenEye. And I was like, oh God. And I like, when you know the actual bit, there's like, it gets very dark and warped. There's no way. I thought I did a very good job of being like, there's no way people can take this at face value, because I get so weird and warped with it. And they're like literally on the topic that we've just been discussing.
Yeah.
And then, there's still people like, fucking Keenan and Kel.
But are you not, in that case, are you not kind of pulling a doubler, you know? Like existing in two places at the same time, you know? On the face value, it's kind of like you're getting a little 2 for 1 there, you know?
True. Now, in other cases, yes.
But in that case, if you were clearer about your comedy, everyone would get it.
I know, yeah. I know. I know. And like the one the fear I have is like in the show Great Lad, where Nugent comes on and he does a load of jokes.
Liam Nugent.
That he comes on and he does a set that is just all like basically effectively the same joke about like pronouns.
Yeah.
Kind of this like small-minded kind of anti-woke comedian doing the same joke. And the joke is that it's the same joke with like just different variations. But I really kind of got a bit panicked after March when I did it, and I was like, I need more of a lead in there. I need to bash people over the heads with the intro to this section, so that they know that it's not. And that's, you don't want to be also, you don't want to be the person who's spelling it out for people. But in certain cases, I think that there's no harm in being like, this is, you know, you're not, this is, there's a point to this that isn't the surface level.
There was an unexpected lot of heart as well at the end of that, which is very spoiled, but it's very it's kind of then the commentary, which is a very kind of Irish thing of like, I don't get it, but I love, you know, but I'll give it a shot, you know, and there's no harm and there's no malice, and we're not coming for anything, and we don't feel threatened by it.
Exactly.
Just it's a bit silly. Because
you don't want to be, you even if you're making fun of a negative way of thought, you don't want to be just ending on it either, especially when you whole rest of the show to go and you have to be like,
yeah. And what's your favorite part of making a sketch? Is it from like, you know, the idea, the inception, the actual writing it, the recording it, looking back at your footage, putting it out, seeing it react?
Putting it out is hell, because then it's just the day's written off, depending on what the sketch is, but the day can be just written off with me just constant, which is, I'm getting better at that now.
Yeah.
But it's maybe the writing of it, if it is a sketch that requires a good bit of rewriting, like a Filter Dad sketch or one of those that I do, where there's like, it's a character piece, it's like there's a lot more. It's not, because some sketches are, as you know, you're just like, just going in and finding it or whatever. But the rewriting and shape, and then you're like, this is something special. And I find my performance often very funny, so I do enjoy the edit as well. I think that I am very funny sometimes. So I do enjoy that.
Yeah. Yeah, you are. That'd probably be
Thanks.
my favorite as well.
The edit.
Yeah, I know in the edit. I know in the edit if it's there, and if it isn't, I might still put it out sometimes. But I know that if I wasn't so eager, I think it's where my kind of ADHD brain kicks in, being like, no, like I need closure on this, and I need closure on it now. Sometimes if I have it and I have it in the edit, I should, and it's like if I'm not like laughing or guffawing or going over it, then I need to do the whole thing again.
Yes,
you know? Which I sometimes do, and I'm sometimes satisfied with mediocrity.
No, I mean, don't get that. Mediocrity is my middle name, but I get that, and I've tried to train my brain, not because it is like immediate satisfaction thing, and sometimes some sketches need that, because it's like, if it's just a video of you doing something, like a phrase or something where the joke is like over in 30 seconds, if the whole thing, sometimes that's the kind of thing you do need to just turn up and never think about it again, because it's not worth spending the time. But you, even if enough people find funny or whatever, but then other stuff, it's like, if you're going to do something, you may as well do it right. Like the little more elaborate ones, you may as well. Especially like, I've gotten really into the one take ones where it's just a monologue almost, and I want to get it to under 220. I want to get away under 220, but like 220 is the max because of Twitter. So I just want to get it like as tight as can be, and that requires like, I'll do like 20 takes or something. Yeah. And that's, you can kind of lose your mind doing it over time, but then sometimes you get into this flow where you're like, oh God, yes, and you find these nuances. Like it's proper, like that's
proper acting.
Yeah, it is.
It is, yeah, because you know your lines, and then you're finding new like.
Oh, that's that to me now. That exactly, and little inflections and like finding new jokes. Like take 16 in, you'll find something.
Do you ever find it though that you kind of had a good one on like 2 or 3, and you're like, oh, that's pretty good, but maybe you didn't finish it. You're like, no, I'll start that again. I always I'll start it again, and then I'm at like take 12 or 13, and I'm like, there's something missing here. Maybe it's the energy, or maybe I've been doing this too long or whatever, and I haven't quite found it, and I'm like, and I'm like frustrated that I didn't maybe just stop at like 5 or something like that, or go back to the drawing board a little bit, you know. Sometimes I can kind of I can do it for like 2 hours, you know, and I've just totally run out of steam by the end.
I definitely think that happens. I also don't think it's never a bad thing to keep going with something, as long as you still have the one with a little bit of flavor in it. Like I've been doing this script for this crowd, and I was in the note stage there the last while, and that could be very frustrating, because a note can like upend things and like set you back so much, and you could be just looking at this one note and you're like, and you could just draw a total blank. But I've done it enough now that once you just tell yourself, you're like, there is a way to do this. It's just telling a story so there's a very clear way to do this. You don't know what the way is yet, but you will definitely find it. You will 100% find what it is. And when you do, it'll be the best feeling in the world. So when you're banging your head off the wall, it's like, this is just, and I think it's the same on a smaller scale with the sketch, where you're like, you have this idea and then you do it, and you're like, it's not as funny as I thought it would be, or maybe it's not there yet. And then you're like, you've done enough of these to know that you will 100% get there. So the old disheartening thing, I've gotten better at, like, just working through it.
I remember, and actually Michael Fry, he said it to me again. I said to him before we went up on stage in the Ivy Gardens, I was like, because I'd read this book about bravery from my young fella. Now, I didn't like the book because I didn't like how it defined bravery. It was all like, sometimes you have the butterflies, you just need to ignore the butterflies. Yeah. And I'm like, no, you need to follow the butterflies. You need to know that the butterflies are like essentially your shield of enthusiasm. Yes. You know, it's like it's the butterflies are pulling you in the right direction to do it. So I didn't like. It's clearly someone who's like, you know, never had butterflies in the right direction reading the book. But there was a great line at the end of it. This dog had to jump into a pool, and this dog says, "Whenever I need to be brave, I just think of all the other times I've been brave, and then I don't feel as scared."
That's magic, though. Yeah.
And then like I was all like, you know, I still tell myself that going up on stage, and I tell myself that going up on stage, being like, well, I've done this before. Yeah. Like I don't fully see. That's the thing. I've learned to not believe myself, you know, because I can't believe like whatever that voice is. Like I've learned to not like to recognize that there's a voice in my head that because of pure self-preservation, lies to me about the things that I should do and say, no, that's a bad idea. That sounds like a faff. You know, especially now, recently, anything that seems like a faff, like having to move stuff around or like book stuff or like, I don't know, have a chat with my wife about why I might have to do or, go away to do something or whatever. I was like, nah, it's too big of a faff, and I don't want to do it. And sometimes I think, no, that, I wouldn't be very good at that. Someone might book me for something, and I wouldn't be very good at that. But I have to think, like, someone else actually might know better than I do, Not, like, totally do some sort of show that wouldn't suit me or whatever. Like, I wouldn't do any kind of political thing or anything like that because it wouldn't suit me. But, to kind of take the guidance of someone else who probably does know a little bit better or a reason that they would pick you, to do something and kind of go with it, Do you have any of that? Do you have any?
Oh, 100%. Like, even when I got to write the IFTAs this year, and it was like, and Dermot O'Brien got me on, and he's
very funny writer.
Very funny writer. He's a very funny writer, and I was like, it's a very specific thing writing jokes about people in the room at an awards show. And I was like, I don't know if this for me, like because he's been doing it a few years and he's a far superior joke writer than me. The gags he was coming out with were insane. So I was like, oh, then you get a bit insecure about that. And then you're like, no, you're right. Yeah. Again, you're here for a reason. So then you're like, and what can you bring?
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, then you just kind of find what that is and just kind of try to deliver that. But it happens all the time. But then it's like, it's also like learning experiences. You know what I mean? You're like, I get to say I did that there and I might take away something from it.
Yeah, 100%.
Even if it's like not the exact kind of thing that is your ballpark that you feel good at.
It's only a recent feeling now to be happy for people who are funnier than me on a given night. That's only a recent feeling that I genuinely am like, all I can be is me, and there's people like, I just know that there are people funnier than me. And I might be wrong, and like when people might be objective about that. I feel like we're getting deep into the fucking weeds here, but like I just feel like for anything, you have your contribution. What can you do? What is the best thing you can do? You can waste so much time preoccupied about whether you're better or whether you have anything to give, rather than actually give. What on the IFTAs? What did you rewatch it then?
I did. I rewatched the bits where Deirdre was speaking because
they were your gags.
Yeah.
What was your favorite gag that you did for it?
My favorite gag that got on TV. There was two because they cut it down to an hour. So what happened in the room was like whatever 3 or 4 hours, but then it was like a 1 hour cut down. One joke, which is an alright joke, but it cut on Michael D. Higgins laughing.
Oh, unreal.
That's awful.
Oh, you can't say that, can you, Deirdre?
Two nonces go into a bar.
Yeah. We wrote nonce jokes, but
of course.
Yeah. Deirdre she was very open and almost pushed us in the direction of edginess. Early days. But
she's incredible. She's a class actor.
She really is.
Yeah.
She's like, what do you mean now? She's sound out. But we it was a joke about the writer's strike, the WGA strike. It's like American writers are striking because some of them can't afford to pay their mortgages. That's right. American writers have mortgages.
Oh, that's funny.
That was the one he laughed at. And then the intro, John C. Reilly presented an award. And it was Joe Biden. We embarrassed ourselves a few weeks ago when Joe Biden came fawning all over him. So let's not make that mistake again. Ladies and gentlemen, the greatest man that ever lived, John C. Reilly.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, I'd said actor. They changed it to man. For some reason, I wasn't there to contest it. But
that's a lot of bullshit. What was the...
Let's push him, man. Let's call him out now.
Let's push.
The IFTAs.
We're coming for you. What was the edgiest one that didn't make the cut?
Oh, God. Oh, you...
Yeah, I mean, whatever. Like, if you're happy to say it.
Okay, I won't... There's some that are too edgy that... Like, there's...
Yeah, whatever.
Okay.
Whatever you're happy. Whatever's not career. Suicide.
See, my favourite joke of all was one Dermot wrote, and it... Okay.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have said he wrote it. Okay, no.
Cut it out.
Okay. Oh, I'll just tell my version of the joke.
Okay.
because he put a button on it that was way funnier, but I feel like it's not my place to say it. Colin Farrell, who ended up not being there. So, but it was Colin Farrell. They say there's no meaty parts for older actresses, but there's one right there.
Oh, what?
It was about Colin Farrell riding Elwins. That was. He's got a rep for.
Does he?
Eileen Atkins, cool Eileen Atkins, Colin Farrell, Dame Eileen Atkins.
Oh wow!
And a few others as well.
He just rides everyone, doesn't he?
He does, but this one it was like there was just the brief was
that's
older
fun.
actresses.
That's fun.
Yeah,
that's good.
I was rising to the brief. I'll just tell you.
I thought you were going to make a breakfast, lunch, and dinner gag.
No, come on.
I
You'd
know,
walk
I know.
out.
I
That's
know,
why
I
you'd
know.
be afraid you'd walk out, something like that.
Yeah.
What else? Oh, there was one. It was like mean spirited. I had one bit that was kind of mean spirited, but mean spirited against a lad who's a dickhead.
Okay.
Well, you know, I perceive him to be that. Talking about the Nepo babies thing, and it's like, you know, going through, you know, you've had the Gleasons there, you know, and then, and of course, where would Martin McDonagh be without his brother, John Michael?
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not, yeah, it's fun. Yeah, it wouldn't get a laugh. Would have got a.
Yeah. But little did they know how fucking scathing the fucking
Yeah.
writer.
Look, it was fun. I liked it now.
Yeah.
I liked it. It was a lovely time.
Yeah.
It's like you're writing. You feel like a proper comedy gag writer when you're like, there's four of you in a room writing.
Stop.
And then like, Deirdre get up and pace and like talk it out, and you're like,
Love that.
it's proper. Like, I hope I get to do it again.
It's so much more. It's so much more exciting when someone pays you to do the job that you actually have to have had to do for free on your own forever.
Not to go back to the how handy are you? That's when I feel like, oh, I'm a tradesman.
Yeah,
you know, when
I
I'm
know.
sitting in a room that isn't my house.
Yeah.
And like you're like going over these jokes with other people, and then you're going for tea breaks and a pint after.
Yeah.
You're like comedy as a job, because even if you're getting paid for doing gigs are big, glamorous, sexy things. Even when they're not, you're still like, I'm coming out and being the center of attention, telling you my jokes and my little skits, and you're most likely going to laugh at them. And it's in a pub setting. It's, you know, it's not real work, as opposed to what in the kind of like accepted term of what work is. Whereas like there you actually feel like, I'm contributing something, when you're not. You're writing gags for an award show.
No, but like you are, but it's just very seldom. What do you think? D. Forbes is out, and they're bringing in the new director general.
Who is it?
I think he's either someone with previous BBC or Channel 4 experience. He's a Brit, I think.
ITV experience.
Oof.
No, an outgoing member of
an
ITV
outgoing
staff.
member of. Yeah. It's me, guys. Scopes.
No.
Do you think that's going to change anything?
I have no idea. I have no idea. You like to think
New head, new Keelty.
the Keelty thing might be a cool
It'd be
step
funnier.
in the right
Can't
direction.
Get, I can't
know.
get less funny.
Oh, he'll be an amazing host, but like maybe that's like a sign that maybe they're not thinking about, again, the old cliche of throwing a rock and the Montrose canteen.
Yeah. What do you think of Schofield?
I've literally lost.
You've sent me so many Schofield memes.
See, I feel validated, because me and the absolute worst dregs of the UK have been on this for about a year now. This saga.
Yes.
Like my Achilles heel now will be going down these rabbit holes. And
there was I remember there was a TikTok. Something popped up, but if you want to know about things that may be true or may not be true, but definitely it's a good place for conspiracy theories. And Twitter used to be a good spot for like, this footballer has done something, but they can't talk about it because all the papers have been whatever.
Super injunction.
Super injunction. But Twitter's already named whoever it is.
Yeah.
TikTok's now that with like that day made true crime documentaries about it, and it's incredible. So there's been rumors, you know. Well, I can't go into it because it's still.
But it's.
There's been something.
It's so I just get what intrigues me, because it's
but
the kind
Philip
of
Philip Schofield leaving.
Philip Schofield leaving the ITV, and it's the thing that I've been following like on and off for the last, like, it's what it always intrigues me, because I love the idea of showbiz. I love the showbiz world. Like, there's different facets of it that interest me more, or whatever. But the idea, I just love the idea of this person's what they're presenting to the world. I was gonna get it.
Don't get into the weeds.
No, yeah, exactly. Like, to draw a comparison of someone who died the other day,
Rolf
Harris.
Yeah,
like, that was not our generation. But we would have still been aware of him from like songs. But
a 4-quadrant performer appealing to every generation.
Exactly. Like, that is you cannot be intrigued by that from a dramatic point. If you were from a writing standpoint or anything like that, or like interested, it's like someone. It's like that. It's the idea of masks. It's like someone presents themselves this way and they're this other way, and then you're like you can't. I'm drawn to it, from like my whatever artistic instinct is just drawn to that kind of thing.
You also do read a lot of kind of like Hollywood behind the scenes kind of like true stories about characters, and
I do. I like the history of that industry and all that. I got shelves of books about it and all that. So I do. I am a. It's a mix. It's like it's basically my nerdy instincts and my like prurient or my like gossip monging. Like just meeting in the middle in the one perfect little thing.
I did find it. I remember I was talking to you about it. That there was. I mean, I heard on Radio 1 2 days on the trot. It was, apparently Philip Schofield and Holly Willoughby are not on speaking terms, and I'm like, this is in between, like it used to just be COVID on RTE Radio 1, like updates on, and like so this is in the same spot that like the current death toll existed in. Is now rumors abound of them not on speaking terms. 2 days on the trot, and I know how things work, but I remember in college finding out what a press release was, and then seeing it, and I'm like, well, what is this? And they're like, well, this goes out to everyone, and this becomes the news. I'm like, what? Like this verbatim? These words are the words. Like, they don't write all the news. If they want to get the news out about something, they read the press release, and that's why you can flick through sometimes, 6 o'clock on the hour, and pretty much hear verbatim the same news being told in different voices on different channels. So I found that very interesting that there was clearly a lot of money been put into the idea that Holly Willoughby and Philip Schofield are no longer on speaking terms.
I know, yeah.
To distance themselves. And then Philip Schofield coming out and saying, no, we're fine.
It's so obvious, like it's so obvious. It's like her team throwing money at this thing to make this, like, as you see, like the press release all that, and then him like obviously getting his back up and in damage control. Yeah. And like not like throwing a spanner in the work. It's just so intriguing and like. And
it was interesting, without going into too much details, to see that, like, I suppose I was familiar with that, having seen it happen a previous time.
Yeah.
In Ireland, without going into any details, of a host having to kind of distance, like the morning show happening in Ireland, without going into too many details.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, like just seeing people get replaced for behavior. And so
you're right. I didn't draw the equivalence, but that's that's exactly it. Well, on paper it is anyway. Like that's wow. Yeah, it's
and so it just kind of looks like it's happening again, and they've taken a bit of leave, and then it'll be Scopes, admitted that he's gone, or been public about that he's leaving.
Did you see the Alison Hammond and Dermot O'Leary's?
I didn't click into it. I saw a video.
Watch it.
Yeah,
it's your jaw will be on the floor. So you've got like two of the most, like one of the most seasoned and one of the most naturally gifted on camera.
Yeah,
people one of them looks like he's about to like do the Mike Herman trade, like the lip thing, like he's just bubbling rage, and she could not be more reading a teleprompter if she tried, and she can not make that look completely natural.
So their thought is, I'm regrettably have to do this.
Yes, exactly.
I wish I can see this being broadcast.
And this is going to come back and haunt me in a few weeks. Super injunctions lifted, and then you just see her, photos come up, like no clips, no like. Remember these like basically pulled off of like Shutterstock images of him by himself, no other presenter in the frame with him, and 2 or 3 play, and that's out, and you're like, did he die?
Yeah.
Did he die? Like, and in like a really horrific circumstance because they look devastated or furious.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm like you can't. How can you not be deeply intrigued by
because also if they didn't do anything, it would be very suspicious. You tell me he's been there for a while.
Yeah.
You know, like the majority, like the 95% of people who are just like at face value being like, oh, well, I guess they fell out or whatever. Oh, you know, we'll have seen him on TV. You know, but maybe even 99%, but this 1% of fucking freaks
like
who. But I don't even know how true any of, you know. I don't know. I'm getting into too much.
Well, it's not that it's not like, because the details of whatever the case may be, something's happened and it will be revealed. It's not like you're making a judgment on his character. It's more an observation of like this, like what is going on here.
Yeah.
And I am no student of like more TV at all. Like I'm just drawn into this because of the like what it's the implications of it. So you're like intrigued by how they handle it and how does that, and it's just it's pure gossip monger and stuff to say, no question about it. But
yeah,
it's fascinating. Like, I mean, to what we know that in Ireland it just wasn't at all dealt with. Like,
no,
it was just like
just
complete like omerta.
Yeah,
radio silence. Pardon the pun.
It was kind of like one of these DJs went into like the fly booth and came out. There's two men. As a big one and a little one. Like, tonight, Matthew, I'm going to be
two different men.
Two different men. You know?
Yeah.
I
mean, maybe that's the way to do it. You know, I actually can't. That's probably the way to do it. Just double down and just like brazen through it.
Yeah, I think so. Or, you know.
Because when people are like, but what do you owe us an explanation. It's like, we don't owe you an explanation.
Yeah.
Like, for the most part, it's like, people want to know out of utter nosiness.
100%.
But at least I have the dignity to admit that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying you owe us an explanation. You're like, I'd love to know what happened.
Yeah. I know.
Hopefully I'll get someone in a pub one night and they wear the ear off me with.
But it's just one of these things, like, you have to do it every single day. So there's no point. There's almost even like not even a point having an episode of TV or radio or whatever it might be that you actually say. So just let you know this is what happened. Because some people hear it, some people won't hear it. So there's no point, like,
exactly.
Unless you're going to put a reminder in every time, just as a reminder, so-and-so's not here.
And the reason is
again.
No, be ridiculous.
Yeah, be silly.
Do you know any good local scandal about Irish celebs? I know none.
Any local scandal? Not really. I'm always kept in the dark. I'm like the last one to know about everything.
Okay.
And I kind of, you know, I kind of like it that way. You know,
yeah.
Like, I haven't heard any scandal with my friends in probably about 7 years.
That's nice.
Yeah, there probably is, but I don't know any of it. You know, I now get to kind of, in a kind of stupid, gormless way, like, just take everyone at face value.
Yeah,
you know?
I like that.
You know,
I much prefer that.
Like, if someone, I don't know if any, you know, I wouldn't know if any of my friends are in severe financial debt.
Yeah.
You know, so I'll be like, whatever. You know.
What about the big celebs though?
The big celebs.
The Irish celebs, I mean. But like
the Irish celebs, I mean, obviously there was a big one there, you know, a while back. And his room, like,
more like open secret stuff. Do you know, like current open secrets.
No.
Such a loaded phrase.
I mean, there's like, I've heard insane Tuberty rumors.
I don't believe
any of them. You know, and I've heard insane. I mean, this is not so unfun because I'm not going to be able to say, you know, no.
True.
Right. This is a broadcast still.
Oh yeah. No.
You know.
Oh yeah.
But I don't really believe any of them.
Yeah.
What about you? Come on, you're like
for the
you're
gossip.
the fucking
fishmonger's wife or whatever they got. Fish wife.
Like my little birdies telling
my
me.
little bit. No, they really don't.
The spider.
I tell you, who's got a great font of gossip that I don't necessarily. Oftentimes I hear secondhand but it's Ali Fox. She's got some juicy
I'll
ones
have to have her on.
Too. Well, don't. Patreon. Make that share. That's Patreon.
Okay, behind the paywall. Yeah. Okay, Grant.
But I don't. I don't know. No one tells. I used to be mad. Now I'm it just feels when you're as you get older, it's a bit like it's quite a poisonous thing.
It is quite a poisonous
Scandal.
thing. Yeah.
I'm even talking about like about the big dogs because it's a bit like it seems a bit.
But it is like it's still this model that is like beforehand. It was like, you know, actors or presenters were like it was an open secret because what are you going to do? You don't have the platform to get me
Exactly.
You know? And then the last couple of years it's been like, no, we do have the platform and it is going to come out. But the whole kind of I'm also still a fake person is still in existence. Like it's going to get to a level now in the future where people will not tolerate that. Apart from just acting in a scene, you know, people have had to be far more authentic. And I think people. So then it's like this whole idea of like a morning presenter is not exactly as they seem. I feel like that's only got a shelf life of another 15 years.
I definitely think so. Like
you have to be exactly yourself, otherwise, you know, people are going to call bullshit.
Yeah,
and people will also, I think, seek out. Well, I don't think you're actually like that, and you'll know everything about everyone. You know, so yeah, I don't know. It is a kind of, you know, it is. Yeah, I think it's going to become quite a dated thing that anyone could get cancelled. I think you'll be pre-cancelled before you know.
Yeah, your PR company cancel you preemptively.
Yeah,
and then you can just write. You just look. Now you're done.
Yeah,
now you can just get out there now and
like double jeopardy.
So, yes,
you've already done your time.
Exactly.
Are you like you've got no skeletons, Peter?
Don't say that.
Well,
that's
like
asking first.
Go look for them. Go look for them. No, but like I don't know, like you.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
You like, you know, you're very
Keep
honest. Like
clean.
you don't really keep that too tight. But I've never met anyone so afraid of being cancelled.
I suppose it's like it was at the peak of the thing where you're like, I'm not like this now anymore. I feel a lot, but like I was doing like with Nugent and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I just felt
it's satire, but you didn't really have the machine behind you to back you up.
We were and we were going through a time where maybe I was just been too online, but it was just like people just will take anything context free, and there just seemed to be this really like anti kind of art stance that was like birds like if you needed to just be pure in your intentions in terms of what you presented in what your work, whatever. And I was just like, I just thought that had me the shits up me. I was just like, and so like that, and I stopped like this Nugent kind of went on ice for a while and stuff. But then COVID happened. I genuinely think COVID happened and everyone watched The Sopranos and we're like, I know our complex kind of dealing with these kind of complex things and art is actually good. During COVID, people thought that they got reacquainted with things like Sopranos and stuff like that. They're like, this is kind of a good thing. And I think people got less worried about kind of, maybe they needed art more to process their their emotions and all the rest of it again. And then they kind of, there's like, okay, no, maybe people are allowed to kind of be a bit more, not that I'm Mr. Edgy like, but you know what I mean? It's like, I just felt a bit like I could be very easily misconstrued in the stuff I was doing. Yeah. Deliberately misconstrued. Or people are like, not even misconstrued. It's like intentions didn't seem to matter. It's like, it was just like,
but you're I mean, like going on Twitter, you're swimming with sharks, and it's like, you know, it's, you know, who knows what, because sometimes there's very valid rhyme or reason, and there's a New York Times article that they've been working on for like 4 years that exposes something, and people then see something and come forward. You know, we've seen it with some, you know, comedians being cancelled where their apology became the notice board of you know, accusers. Yeah. And it was kind of an incredible thing, you know? Yeah. So there but then there's also people who are like, I'm going to type in a racial slur that people threw around 20 years ago, you know, into Facebook and see if anyone said it once. And, you know, and they're trying to, you know, take people down, you know, or you know, the F word, the gay F word that people, you know, that Eddie Murphy so brazenly throws around, you know, in Raw and Delirious.
I was throwing around shocking things
I was throwing around shocking things. But I had no experience of anyone else other than straight white people, you know? And I didn't know that any of these words affected anything, you know?
And also, I feel like, surely, outside of crimes and like horrific moral actions, do you not get like a little blanket forgiveness for when you were like 18, 19? Maybe you don't. Maybe I've been. No, you don't. But like, as in when you get, as in not when you are currently 18, 19, you need to accept the consequences in the moment.
Yeah.
I mean more like.
But like, if you know, if you were to go on a podcast and defend, you know, or apologize for some, when you listen to a lot of gangster rap, putting the N-word in a Facebook message to someone, they were essentially quoting some rap song. Like, I think you could put, you know, if that pops up on Twitter, you could find a sea of people being like bad, and that sea of people is the overwhelming factor here, you know, that gathers momentum. But if you were to go on a podcast and try and defend that, it would be quelled within a second.
Yeah,
there's nuance to it, but there's like nuance. This is nuance to dropping N-bombs.
It's more like it's not even nuance. It's like, look,
yeah,
say in your piece. It's like, come on,
context.
Come on, I wanted to say it. No, no, but I think it has leveled up. Like you were saying, like I used to be way more on eggshell. I was like not terrified, but I was like, it's going to come from big X, Y. But I think that now, because I think that kind of attitude is kind of leveled off a bit. Maybe I think the Zoomers are doing it, but they don't give a fuck about me.
No.
But I think now our generation now has copped on a bit to that and like is open to there being like.
Well, I think we've got more to references to pull from, you know, like you know, when it was Weinstein, you know, and then it was like anything after that was like still in the Weinstein gravity bubble, the Weinstein solar system. Some like Aziz Ansari is you know, is like the distant planet, you know, in the Weinstein solar system, but doesn't belong in the same conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
And even talking, there was a time then even saying, and maybe there still is for some people, but you know, that having him in the wine, like you couldn't even talk about what could be included in the conversation and what shouldn't be included in the conversation. It was all this big pull towards gravity sun that was like, no, bad. And now we've seen some examples of like, oh well, that is not necessarily his thing, but like, you know, other than, oh well, that's nothing. Why do people get bent out of shape about that? And we've got a lot more context for what crazy big online reaction and public shaming looks like, that we can now put it a bit more into buckets. But beforehand, there was just one bucket, you know.
I feel like that. I remember at the time I was like, I think this is what's going to happen. I think it was like, it does feel like in these massive big social like shifts of mindset, it's like there has to be these like massive big like burn it all down like kind of off with their heads thing for anyone tangentially related. Like you need kind of almost like collateral damage in it there for this cause. Which is I'm sure that's no mercy to them. No, you know, great. But like it's
but I think it has to be,
and then it balances out, and then it's like, oh, there's now this whole, could be talking my ass here, but now it feels like there's this whole other. It's like a much better place overall now, where kind of people are so aware of those kind of things, or not so aware, obviously people are aware, but so anti that kind of thing, and like won't accept it. Where so it's like maybe there is more forgiveness across the board, as you say. Like it's like there are more little siloed off levels of these things, and maybe there's like forgiveness and atonement to be had. And if there isn't, that's not my place to say whether there should be. But no, you know what I mean. I feel like now it's a lot more like
you have to blow it up. Like you kind of have to blow it up, and now it's and like
so if you're unlucky enough to be caught in the I would like to stress that I was never afraid of getting cancelled for anything like that.
No, I know. It's just someone might, you know, not appreciate, like, because Nugent is an incredible character, and you do him so well, and I think you do him very clearly that he thinks it's all. I mean, there's so many people who just are like that. They think something's just so silly, and you know, would say, "Oh, well, I identify." Like, I think I said this before. I was asked on a radio show to be the woke reporter.
Yeah.
I think I told you this. They were like, so we'd like you to come on to a character, like it's the woke reporter. And I'm like, okay. And like, what kind of things? Like, well, you know, we get a lot of crap, you know, online about our show, and you know, there are all these kind of woke people, you know, so we want to have a bit of prod these kind of woke people. So I don't know, like maybe you could be like, we could be talking about when Fungi had disappeared. You'd be like, well, Fungi the dolphin, and then you could say something like, well, how do you know he identifies as a dolphin?
That's one of the worst.
Yeah, I know, isn't it?
Jokes I've
Isn't that
ever
awful?
heard.
But isn't that just so dismissive and so reductive of everything? Like,
It's so
it's like I don't even want to engage. The idea is as ludicrous that Fungi, you know, and getting it wrong. And these people don't actually even exist. These people be like the actuallys. You got the gender wrong. They don't exist. They're shy little rockers who paint their nails and dye their hair, and that's all they are. Like, it's just it's so fucking stupid that you think these people are coming for you, and you're anyway. So then I was like,
people just buying every Facebook article about an American college that gets served. But these people are broadcast.
But they were using woke, and I was like, I actually didn't know that people used woke as a bad word. I was all like, I thought that was still in the kind of good word, but like, no, it's some slur for people who are just holier than thou, and that's what they were using it for on this fucking radio show. I thought it was a really, really bad idea.
It was,
and I said, I think that's a really bad idea.
Did you?
Yeah, I was like, I think that's a really bad idea, because I actually think I am woke. I think I am woke, and I don't feel that as a bad thing. And I think it's a bit reductive and a bit silly.
And how do you know what he identifies as?
Yeah, I know. I think they were like, well, you know, maybe it'll, well, maybe, you know, you could do a better spin on it. And I'm like, I was like, I'm not going to do that, and I don't think you should do that. I think that's a bad idea for everyone.
Cut to Killian Sunderman is the roving reporter. Nah, Killian would never do that.
No, he'd never do that.
He's got too much integrity. I'm sorry that I said his name.
No, he does.
He's more integrity than two of us put together, I'd say.
It is funny though when that happens sometimes when you say no to something and you see someone else get it. Doesn't happen very often. No, and I'm very, I'm not very selective.
I don't get asked to do anything, and I never say no to things I'm asked to do. So
that's great.
Yeah.
How are we for time?
Oh, I could.
Oh, we're at about an hour. Peter, is there anything else you'd like to talk about? Sorry, that's too much pressure on you.
No. I mean, I talk till the cows come home. How have you been?
Yeah, I've been all right, actually. Thanks, fucking Jesus Christ. Thanks for asking.
Are you, how you had a gig there last Monday?
It was awful.
Oh, great.
I was awful at it. It
Why?
was really bad.
Why?
I went out there with no jokes. It's like going to a duel with no bullets. Like, I went out there with no jokes. I went out there thinking I had a kind of funny idea, and it was just a beautiful, humbling reminder of what you do, you know, of what you're supposed to do, which is know exactly what you're going to say, exactly how you're going to say it, exactly like the joke, exactly what the joke is, exactly where put the funny fucking bit at the end. And I'm there trying to get away on some fucking charm that is rapidly depleting live on stage. And then my dirty jokes are dirty because no one's laughing at them, and they're disgusting. And there's a big light on the fucking pervert on the stage making stupid jokes of which, if I actually had just been a bit clearer with them and had just known what order, going out, starting the gig with something I've never said before. How is that going to fucking go? You know, start the gig. Got to start.
You've changed your tune.
I know. And then that's what I tried. I told you that recently. I was like, oh, Joe, I love about the American comedians. They just come out and say whatever's at the top of their head.
Yeah.
But I think maybe they've also thought about it. You know, I was like, I don't know how I'll start this. I'll see what happens. You know, and I also was just thought it was a complete disrespect to the audience for not giving them, because I had a bit I wanted to try. And I tried it, but it was like me fucking prodding a bit of maul out with my thumb.
You kind of have to do that as well, though.
A little bit, but I was grateful for it. No, like genuinely, because it's just like, I know what it is, and there's probably a 2-hour lead-in time for any gig where I'm going over. There's probably that morning knowing exactly what it is, and then the 2 hours beforehand kind of making sure that I know what it is, and then there's the like hour leading up to the gig, which is what I always used to do. I'd walk to my gigs, regardless of, even from here, you know, I'd walk an hour, and I'd go and I'd get in the headspace and I'd talk over and over and over and over again. So I have it wrote, you know, and I just didn't do that. And I don't think every gig demands that, but if you have a kind of an audience, regardless of the mood, is, you know, Monday, you know, it's not going to be Saturday, it's not going to be Friday.
Yeah.
It's just, and it's, you know,
fair play to anyone going anywhere on a Monday.
Fucking hell, Jesus, I wouldn't. I'm only here because you're here.
Yeah.
You know, in the audience.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, all right.
But yeah, it's good. It's good to get that, and it's. Do you know what? I know I like the fact that I want to do better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't.
Oh, yeah,
I don't.
that's
It's not like baby out with the bathwater. It's not like I don't want to do it ever again. You know. So thanks for asking. It was.
No worries. Are you doing more gigs?
I will be. Yeah, I will be. I'll be doing a couple of gigs to be announced, and I'm doing a live podcast in the Workman's in June. Date to be announced. And you know what? You can get early bird tickets if you're a member of my Patreon. Patreon.com/Tony Cantwell. For the price of £1 a month, you can get an extra podcast every single week, including an up-and-coming episode where Ali Fox is going to spill all the beans about the nonsense in RTE.
I don't know.
Is that what she said?
I just know that she's got, like, and of course, being Ali, gorgeously told woven yarns about Scottish stuff that she has heard about celebrities.
Great. Well, I won't. I mean, I'm not going to put her on the spot, but I definitely will have her. That's a good reminder to get onto her. Peter, you want to plug?
I do. I have my show, Great Lad. It's on in September. I'm gigging in Dublin, in Vicar Street. Loads of tickets left for that, so go and buy them. So I make me a Joanne McGanny, is what I'm saying.
That's good.
Dublin, Galway, Town Hall Theatre. Collins in County Cork. The Spirit Store.
Lovely.
In Dundalk.
Yeah.
Dolan's in Limerick. And Cavlin's in Portlaoise.
Unreal.
Not necessarily in that order, but like, you know, go on my link in my bio. Great Lad is the show. Please.
It's a
very,
very, very funny show.
He saw
it in Liberty Hall Theatre.
Which was sold out.
Which was
is
sold
the
out.
Optimum way to see that show. So buy tickets.
Yeah, totally. Definitely buy tickets. Got them now. There'll be a link in the bio.
Will there?
Grace
Cross my palm with silver.
Peter McGann, thank you very much for coming to the shed.
Thanks, Tony. Thanks for having me. Please have me back. I love the shed.
Depends.
Yeah, no.
Depends what I find out about you through Ali. Thank you, Peter.
Thanks, Tony. Bye. Bye.